Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we are on to our fourth and final week of the 5 miles of hell major section technique breakdown. Now we've gone through 1, 2, 3 gnarly sections, the crux of 5 miles of hell, and really showing you guys and hoping to show you guys the proper forms and techniques so you can prepare for this ride. This is a bucket list ride. As you can see, the terrain is beautiful. It's so fun to ride this. We're having a blast. The rain's about to come down, so I might be doing this episode in the rain. We're gonna get it knocked out for you. Now, we have a pretty gnarly wall. You can see we have a good sized arrow here. This arrow, we're talking, I mean, it's definitely bigger than a K-rail. You know, 3, 4 feet. It's good size, good enough. Now, there is a safer line. We will talk the safer line and the approach that I like to take on the safer line. You guys can probably guess it if you watched the first 3 episodes. It's a lot about running it deep and understanding how we maximize our angle. Everything you do in hard enduro is about kind of right angles. You kind of want to run it straight, pivot over, run it the other way. That's how we're going to approach that safe line. Now, the big line here is all about the clutch up. Now, we've done videos over and over on the clutch up. Clutch up is, there's a lot that happens to understand how to get a proper lift of the front tire. As I kind of drive my weight forward, the clutch comes in, front brake comes in to initiate that suspension compression. My hips come back with the rebound of the suspension and a load of the engine, right? So as I come forward, clutch comes in, front brake comes in, throttle comes on. As the hips come back, heels drop, knees come back, hips go back with the rebound of the suspension, throttle comes off, front brake comes out, clutch comes out. I know there's a lot that's happening in a clutch up, but proper form, it's all about understanding how we're using that dispersing power to get up this obstacle. So there's a few things I can say about that. If you don't have your clutch up perfectly dialed, you can still use something like this as a kicker. As you can see, it's a little bit of an uphill run, and I'm actually gonna lift right here. You'll see I'll come in and I'm gonna use this nice flat section and this as my lift point to get a smooth drive into the obstacle. At that lift point, I'm gonna be on the power, loading that engine, clutches in. So it's kind of a snap back, clutch out. I pull the clutch, you know, a quarter way back in and really load as I begin that drive forward. Front tire runs into the obstacle. That causes suspension compression. As that rebound is happening, my weight is coming forward, counteracting the front end, moving forward and above the machine. As the rear tire drives in, front end wants to drop. I'm forward, therefore I can allow the front end to drop smoothly, bringing my hips back and holding traction over the top. It's raining, so I'm gonna do it in the rain, but I'll hold perfect traction all the way through because I hold myself accountable. I'm always working on making sure that my traction is perfect every single time, rain or shine. I'm never satisfied. I always wanna be perfect in everything that I do, or try to be as perfect as I can be. So let me break down the safer line. So as you can see, we have this little bit of a trench here. This is where all the water runs, kind of washes out. The main thing, as you can see, everybody goes right here. They get there and they spin their tires. It's a tight turn, so your front tire is going to be running in. We also have an inside peg hitter right here. As you can see, there's already scratches from people bashing their pegs on the inside because your rear tire's here and your peg is right up against that rock. Now, the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to run it deep. I'm gonna come through here and I'm gonna put, I know this sounds wild, but I'm gonna run my rear tire all the way up into this area. I want my rear tire up here, front tire up there. I'm running this bike nice and wide. I don't wanna get down into these pits where I run the risk of bashing my case, my shifter. You know, that's how you break a shifter, is you bash it into the inside of a wall. So I'm gonna run it deep. Either way, whether I run it into there or pivot, I'm going to work it as deep as I can and wide as I can to stay away from that rock. Now, personally, I would like to run it and actually go up this way, staying out of those deep trenches. I don't like being in the deep trenches. That's where you scratch your swing arms and bend your rotors and bend your sprockets. So my personal goal would be to pivot and come out on the easy line. We'll do it a few different ways and show you guys the approach, but let's get after it. All right, guys, we are going to start with the safer approach. It's to the right of the big wall. This is the one most of you guys are going to hit. This is where we're kind of dealing with a trench or a groove. This is where everybody wants to stay in the middle of that section. And a lot of times that's not the correct approach. Learning how to run it high, staying above those grooves can make it a lot easier on you. So here we go. Nice and smooth here. We set ourselves up. We don't need to rush any of this. Nice and smooth. We line up for the direction that we're gonna take on the approach. Now, nice and straight, you can see where everybody goes. They turn to the right immediately because it funnels you. That groove funnels you into to the left. And that's where everybody's been spinning their tires. You can see that's where you waste your tires. That's why my tires last so long, because I don't spin my tires. I'm focused on staying above and trying to hold traction all the time. So you spin your tires, you get nice big black marks like that. And not only that, you waste a lot of energy doing that. So I'm gonna run it deep. Now notice here, again, we're aiming with our rear tire. This approach is so key in any technical section. Understanding we have to aim with our rear. So I'm literally gonna run my front tire way up, close to the tree, which seems surprising to probably most of you, but there's plenty of space here to put your foot down on the left. There's even a ledge for you shorter riders. You're gonna be able to do that easily. We're gonna run it deep. We're gonna run it far up into that ledge, putting our left foot down nice and smooth, and then we'll show you the next part of the approach. So again, nice and controlled here, slow. I run it deep, boom, right there. Now notice where I am. My foot's here. I mean, even if I was shorter, I'd still be able to do this, right? My foot's off to the left. I'm right on the edge. I ran it deep. I'm up in the top of this ledge. The goal now is to pivot this bike over nice and even. Now, I don't even have to turn the bike on to do that. We can hold our rear brake and press through and kind of pivot around. I'm getting close to that edge, so I'm going to start it just to be safe. Pull that thing back. Now, you can see I'm above the trench where everybody gets stuck. I'm above it now. I am close to the edge, but we're set up in a good position to stay out of this groove where everybody's been scratching the walls and, you know, scratching their bikes. So same getting unstuck technique here. We set ourselves up back over the rear tire. You'll see my left foot's here. I'm gonna start that drive, initiate with my body first, then release the clutch with a loaded engine. Here we go. Nice and easy, man. I know that looks very simple, but a lot of guys really struggle in those type of situations. And really, it's not that their form isn't there. It's the understanding of how to make it more efficient, make it easier. It's all about your own approach in these situations. And that is one of those situations where commonly, I mean, you can tell, again, big old black marks where everybody thinks is going to be easiest to go, when actually running it deep is always going to be better. Now, let's get right into the big ledge. The big ledge approach, as I drop off here, the big ledge is a focus on that clutch up. All right, guys, on the approach of this big ledge, as I was saying earlier, the importance of your clutch up ability is key here. Now, this ledge, you can't use a zap. You don't want to leave the ground with your rear tire. This is actually more of what's called a roll-up technique. Roll-up is something where essentially your rear tire rolls up the ledge, right? So we're going to use that little bit of lift down at the bottom. That's going to help us initiate our front tire lift, a little groove down at the bottom. We're going to let that initiate our lift. Then I'm going to load that engine after the lift is initiated. My hips are back. I'm loading the engine. As soon as my front tire drives into the obstacle, I'm driving my weight forward and I'm driving my weight down to keep my rear tire tracking up this ledge. That's that roll-up style double blip, right? Where we want that rear tire to just basically track into the ledge and up over. This is a lot about that momentum, right? We want to come in there with some good pace so we get a good amount of rebound. It's also a lot about that tire placement. I mean, I'm shooting for about 3/4 of the way up this wall. And again, notice my body position. I come back to initiate lift. As the front tire drives into the obstacle, I'm coming forward. I'm exploding forward up through the pegs, straightening out. Then tracking that rear tire into the ledge and pulling me through. That bike comes back up into my body. I'm going up above the bike. Here we go. Nice and smooth, heavy throttle. Driving that rear tire in. Here we go. Just like that. Now, I know that looks quite easy, but to some, it looks quite easy. Some of you know it's quite challenging. That is the key piece of the puzzle to riding out here in 5 miles of hell. There's a lot of ledges, maybe not this extreme, but you're constantly riding ledges over and over and over. 1 foot, 2 foot ledges. It's rough out here. Truly, this trail is it's very abrasive. My hands are very tired. It beats you up. There's a lot of little 6-inch ledges that are constantly beating you up. Learning that proper form, balls of our feet, hips back, hips forward, moving through the bike, right? We're always moving in relation to what the bike is doing. We're focusing on holding that traction, and again, you should be practicing your clutch ups, getting that front tire lift efficient every single time. When you can efficiently place your front tire in the same spot every time on the ledge, you'll do it right every single time. So that is one of those key pieces to the puzzle on your 5 miles of hell experience. Check out our clutch up videos, practice your clutch up, get it dialed in, practice all the fundamentals. You want to be working on your balance. You want to be working on your body position, and you want to be working on your power delivery and collection. We have to understand how to deliver that power, then collect it for efficient traction, right? That's key pieces to your riding experience, whether you're riding hard stuff like this or you're going out on a trail ride. Those are the key tenets to riding a motorcycle. I hope you guys enjoyed our 4-part series on the 5 miles of hell experience. And man, maybe I need to do this. Hit me up in the comments with some trails that you guys know of, maybe some famous hard trails. I'll come out and talk about techniques and approaches in each trail. I love riding tough stuff. This is an absolute blast. The scenery is absolutely worth the trip. I love it here in Utah. I'm having a blast. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I'm just stoked every single time someone comes up and says, man, they're loving the stuff I'm putting out. It gets me psyched, and yeah, man, I love it. So thank you so much. If you're enjoying the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto, my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.